Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And today's lesson, we are still on the topic simultaneous equations in two variables. Okay, so this is going to be the lesson two. And in lesson two, okay, you realize that let's do a recap of lesson one. Lesson one, I introduced you to the simultaneous equation. We realized that we basically have three ways of solving equations simultaneously, okay, which are by using the elimination method, the substitution method, and the graphical approach. Okay, however, we concentrated on the first two, the non-graphical approach. Okay, and we had what? Simultaneous equation by elimination and by what? By substitution. So we concentrated on these two. I gave you what each method, okay, entails if you want to use it to solve any questions simultaneously. Okay, however, today we are going to build on what we learned in our previous what lesson one. So we'll be looking at more questions, okay, and how to deal with that. The question, some of them will deviate from what we did in our previous lesson. So it means you will be getting additional information to make, okay, our knowledge stronger, better, and better. Okay, so quickly, without wasting time, let's go and look at our first, okay, worked, okay, example, okay, in today's lesson. Okay, so this is it. All right. So as usual, I want the class to be interactive. At a point, I will pause, give you questions to solve. You will send it to me. I'll go through. We come, then we look at it together in class. So please make sure you have, okay, your writing, okay, materials with you. Okay, so quickly, what do we have? So work the example one. Solve the following simultaneous equations. So the first one is this. Okay, so up to S, A, up to what? Up to F. So like I said, quickly, let's go and look at. I won't do all. Okay, maybe I will do the first two. The one in red will likely be yours to handle. Okay, so obviously once it's in red, it means I cannot touch it. It is likely to be your assignment or either class assignment or take home assignment. So quickly, solution. That's the first thing that you write. After that, here you are asked to solve every equation usually, whether it's one equation, two equation, three, usually you are asked to solve. So there is nothing salient for us to underline. So after that, what do you write next? Solution. After solution, any major question number, yes, we do. That is major question number one. Okay, after that, or then you come to sub question number A. Okay, so now we are going to extract. We can see two equations. We extract, okay, then label them. Remember the advice. So what do we do? Giving, and what are we giving? Y is equal to 3x minus 4. Okay, we call this equation 1. And remember I told you if you have space, you can come and continue. So I can write end here. Okay, and come and write my second equation, which is x plus y is equal to 24. And label that as equation 2. All correct. Is my point well made, my professors?
Yes, sir.
Great. Okay, so at this point, okay, I will ask. Okay, here what do we have? We have two equations. So let's study the equation. Remember, I've told you don't be in a hurry to lose marks, okay, or waste time. Okay, always listen to the equation. They will tell you the appropriate method to use. Okay, so what do you think will be the appropriate method to use? Is it elimination or substitution in this situation? Mm-hmm. I'm waiting. Don't let us waste time. We need to cover more. Hello, my professors. I don't want to mention names, so please volunteer. Put up your hand and say which method would you have used. Basically, that's it. Okay, Prof. Judah. Hello, it seems my network had a little issue, so it got disconnected. Okay, so the video truncated. I've resumed recording anyway. So please, I'm waiting. Prof. Judah, your hand went up. Okay, here.
The
The substitution
substitution
method. Why?
method.
Prof. Judah, why?
Because that one will be short. If we use the elimination method,
Okay, so
it will be
how would you proceed from here?
long.
How would you proceed from here using the substitution method? Guide me and let me see whether exactly what is expected of you is what you will do. Prof. Judah.
So you substitute the expression.
No, the equation they came with names, so just give them the names. That's all. Use the names. We have given the equation names, so
Substitute um the expression for equation for y from equation one into the
so substitute equation one into equation two.
essay.
Nkyɛ mmarima so deɛ nkyɛ yɛasɛm yɛtia hɔ. Na Prof. Judah woyɛ ayɛ long no. All right, that was just by the way. Okay, so obviously we can see that in the first equation, y is made the subject. Okay, so go for that one. You can see that y is made the subject and it doesn't involve a fraction. So it will be ideal and appropriate for us to use the substitution method. So you just write equation one. Just write one. It's read as equation one once a second into your second equation, which is equation two. And like I always tell you, this will always be too short to take a line. So either a column, semicolon, or comma. Okay, then after that, what do? You are coming to wherever you see y in equation two. It is this. So you are going to get x plus, I am substituting. At normal circumstances, I'm supposed to put it in bracket. But I can see that what I have there, before the bracket, the sign there is positive and the coefficient will be 1. So I'm matured enough to know that brackets will not be necessary. I can ignore and it will not be costly. So 3x minus 4, which is my y, is equal to what? 24. So at this point, what do? I'm going to get 4x is equal to, I'll move this one to this side, which is 28. I write it again before I divide. Okay, so 28. Okay, let me write it well. Okay, over 4. Okay, so we can conclude here. No, we are now going to find x, so we can conclude. So x will be equal to, number first s.
7.
7. Okay, so 7. So you know you need x to find y. So you label this as equation what? You worked on 2 equations. So it cannot be the baby of 1 equation. So it will be equation 3. Okay, then you have to substitute equation 3 into equation 1. Because if you can equally substitute in equation 2. Only that after substituting, okay, x equal to this in substitute, you are now going to make y the subject. But here, after substitution, you can solve for y straight away. Because in the equation that you are substituting, y is already made a subject. So like I said, always think before you write. And you will be rewarded with time. So you will save time, usually. Okay, so quickly, let's go and have a look at how we proceed. So equation 3 into, okay, equation 1, preferably. Okay, so that will give us y is equal to what? 3 into our x is 7. Okay, then minus 4. Okay, so that gives us 21. So y will be equal to 21 minus what? 4. Am I right? Which gives us y to be equal to, hey, let's go.
17.
17. All right. Okay, so now you draw your conclusion. Therefore, you are just asked to solve. So don't conclude in a true set. Okay, so therefore, x is equal to the value 7. And, okay, y is equal to what? 17. All correct, my professors. Hello,
Yes, sir.
are we all fine? Okay, so if that's
Yes,
the
sir.
case, I am going to pause here. Okay, give you some time to try the B. The B will be yours. So let me see if I can. Okay, I will rather bring this one as a classwork. So let's proceed because I am not trusting the network. I don't trust the network, the way it's behaving, so that we can cover more. Okay, all right. So I'm going to skip B. C, obviously, no go area. Then we come towards D. Okay, so D. All right, so let's see how best we can. I think today I should give you more time to write, but I will do so anyway at a point. So let's better our understanding. At a point, you'll be writing, okay, a lot. You'll be doing most of the work. So let me see if I have, okay, at the point that I realize that I have equipped you well enough, giving you all the necessary tools for you to score everything, then okay, I will pause then give you those assignments. So like I said, quickly, okay, B, we are not going to touch it. Let's look at what D, because it's similar to what we have here. Okay, so all along you'll be solving equations in X and Y. So take note, it's not always that your equation, the variables will be X and Y. It could be any letter. Okay, so now what do we have? Okay, we are going to look at that of the D. Okay, so D, what are we giving? We are giving 2P. Okay, minus 5Q. Okay, is equal to -1. So I will label this as my equation 1. Okay, then end, if my end will go here, I can continue here. Otherwise, I come down. And my second equation is 2. I always write close to the margin. P. Oh, sorry, 4P, forgive me. I was writing the first equation again. My bad. All right. Okay, so now what do we have? We have, oops. Okay, we have 4P minus what? Q. Okay, plus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to manipulate on this because it's not in the usual form. The first one, your, what do you call it? Should I say uh, your non-constant terms, okay, on one side and a constant term on the other side. Okay, I want to see whether this one too, I can write it as such. Okay, however, let me plan, okay, before I even write it. And okay, so in this equation, if I want to use elimination, usually if you want to use elimination, that's where you write it in that form. But substitution, that form doesn't really matter. Okay, so if I want to use elimination, coefficient here 2, 4, I cannot easily eliminate unless I multiply through by a constant. Okay, then one of the equation, this one and this one too, I can't easily eliminate. Okay, so substitution, let me see. This one, if I make P the subject, okay, to involve a fraction, same for Q. Let me come here. P for subject, fraction. Or P the subject, I should say fraction. This one, the subject, no fraction. So it means here, before I label my equation, I am going to make Q the subject and label it as equation 1. Other than that, if I label it as equation 1, equation 2, here, I have to go and write from 2, then make Q the subject. You get the point? So having taught before writing experience, so I'm going to write, okay, so in this case, I will move Q here. In my mind, I'm moving Q here, but I'm writing it first. So I write this implies that Q, okay, will be equal to, so I move Q here. Q will be equal to 4P plus 1. So 4P plus 1. So I would rather call this one equation 2. All correct.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
very
sir.
good. All right. So at this point, you knew the plan. The plan was to use the substitution method. That's why you made Q the subject. So you substitute equation 2 into equation 1 this time around. So equation 2 into equation 1, comma, and that will give you 2P, okay, minus 5Q. So 5 here, the coefficient is not 1, and the sign there is not positive, so you cannot ignore the bracket when you are substituting. So your Q is 4p plus 1. Okay, so at this point, we said it will be equal to what? -1. So what do? We come and expand, then combine like terms. So if you are expanding, you come down. 2p minus 5 times 4p will give us minus 20p. Okay, Prof. Judah, what will be the next term if you are expanding? I mentioned your name because I know what I'm looking for. Otherwise, I would have asked the question before mentioning the name. This one, I want it to go directly to you for a particular reason. Prof. Judah, are you there?
Yes.
So let's expand this and see. So I've done the first one. The second one, what will you get? You've done 2p, then you've done this times this. So the next one, I'm waiting, Prof. Judah. Don't let us waste time on this. Hello, Prof. Judah.
-5.
-5, very good. So now I know that problem that you came in with cleared. Okay, I wanted to be very convinced that we have dealt with that issue because it was hanging on our neck. Okay, so now this will be equal to what? -1. So thank you very much, Prof. Judah. So now, after expansion, you have like terms. So you are going to combine like terms here. So this then so 2p minus 20p will give us -18p. Okay, then you are going to get what? -5. I would have moved this one to the side straight away too because I will be combining lighter. So let me do that so that you will know that you can equally do that. So this will be equal to, you move this one to the side, -1 plus 5. So that will give us +4. Okay, so you write again and you divide by negative. Okay, this time round I didn't avoid the negative. Okay, so over 4 over, so I'm going to get, so it's equal to 4 over -18 over -18. Okay, so at this point we get p to be equal to, now we reduce. If you reduce, what do we get? -209. Am I right?
Yes, please.
Okay, but please take note. I know some of you will cancel and write this. Okay, 2 over -9 and end there. You don't leave a fraction with a negative in the denominator, so always bring it up. Is that clear? Okay, so at this point, we know P. Once we know P, we are in a comfortable, we can go and find our Q. And obviously, we will need P to find Q, so we have to label this as equation 3. And we go and write equation 3 into, okay, which equation? Obviously, it will be equation 2, okay, which has Q already made a subject, what we are looking for, so into equation 2. So we are going to get, okay, comma. I think I should have gone to the next line, okay, or the next page, but don't worry. Okay, let me do the needful so that when we substitute, we can proceed from there easily. So forgive me. Okay, so I'm going to the next page. Let me pick my pen first. Okay, so we are going to get equation, we said 3 into equation 2. Okay, so what are we going to get? So let's see whatever we will get in terms of the substitution. So we said Q is equal to 4p and p is -2 on now 9, then +1. So 4p plus 1. Okay, so we know what to do. I guess if I get stuck, you can. So I'm going to get Q will be equal to 4p, and p is what? We said -2 over 9. Okay, then +1. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this point, if you can, whenever you are multiplying and there is no power, the power is 1, check if you can reduce by cancelling numerators and denominators before you multiply. So here I cannot reduce. 4 and 9, you don't have any common, factor that we can easily reduce. So at this point, what do? We are going to multiply. So that will give us Q to be equal to minus 8 on 9, plus what? 1. So this is core math. So otherwise, we could have used our calculator. So this will be 1 minus 8 on what? On 9. Okay, I guess we get my point. So let's go and take the LCM. You can use your calculator. Once you get here, use your calculator. I'm waiting for the value. Because this one, you can even do it mentally. What do you get? Negative 1 over 9. You should know this. Okay, so
Negative 7 over 9.
9. So negative 7 over 9 rather. 7 over 9. Okay, so now this is what you have. You come and draw your conclusion. Therefore, P is equal to, we had negative 2 over 9. Okay, and Q gave us, negative, 7 over 9. And here we were able to conclude with the two fractions directly because they were in the proper fraction form. If they were in the improper fraction, we would have changed to the corresponding mixed numbers in our conclusion. Is my point well made?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Okay, so if that's the case, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause, do B and submit right away. Am I clear? Okay, so you are doing B right now. We'll come back and discuss that one too together. Okay, so you've submitted your work. I've gone through and we are going to look at the solution together. I'll walk you through the solution. Okay, and like I said, I will address all concerns. So that's why I had to go through your submissions. So quickly, let's look at, we're doing the B. So solution to that of the B. So I'm writing the B here. So let me put asterisk there. That was your... So B, what are we giving? We extract. You can choose not to write given, remember, but you have to extract the equations. So 8A minus 7B, is equal to minus 52 in the form that we usually like. Everything, the constants on the other side. I mean, your terms involving the letters on one side, the constants on the other side. So this will be equation 1. Okay, then you come to end. Maybe I'll come down and write the end. Okay, my second equation is A is equal to 2B minus 11. So this then becomes equation 2. Okay, first of all, I realized that, you could see that substitution, is or was the best way to go. So what do? You substitute equation 2 into equation 1. And if you are substituting, don't just go and substitute. Let us know what you are doing. Okay, so I've addressed somebody's concern. Okay, I don't want to mention names. Okay, so at this point, I'll write equation 2, into equation 1. Okay, comma. So it means that will give me 8 into, my A is 2B minus 11. And here I cannot, ignore the brackets because my coefficient is not, 1. It's any other number apart from 1. So in that case, you substitute. So it's 8 in this situation. Then minus 7B, is equal to minus 52. And I've told you, this will always be too short to take a line. I'm addressing somebody's concern. So write comma and come and continue. You always have enough room here to continue. You always. So at this point, you come and expand. That will give you 16B, minus 88, will be equal to what? Will be equal to, minus 7B. Not equal to now. It's equal to minus 52. My professors, I hope you are following. Okay, so I think I can write here. So let me write, or let me come and continue here. So we are going to combine the terms in B. So 16 minus 7 will give us what? 9. Am I right? So we get 9B. And that will be equal to, so this time around, it will be minus 52 plus 88. You can write it, but I always do that mentally. So minus 52 plus 88, or 88 minus 52, will give us, my professors, you do these calculations.
Yes, sir.
What do we get?
9 is equal to 36.
Okay, so 36. Okay, so those of you getting, okay, who had fractions, you will know. So 36. Okay, so at this point, you write it again before you divide. Okay, so you get over 9 over 9. So it means our B will be equal to 4. Okay, you will need B to find A. So you label this as equation what? 3. Then you go and write equation 3 into, okay, equation what? The one that A is made a subject, which is equation 2. And please, again, this will also be too short to take a line. So comma, take note. Next time, you know what will happen. Okay, so what do we do? It will be A is equal to 2B. So 2 into B, which is 4. Okay, then minus 11. So that will give us A is equal to 8 minus 11, which will give us A to be equal to what? Minus what? 3. Am I right? Okay, so at this point, you conclude, therefore, okay, A is equal to minus 3, and, okay, B is equal to what? Is equal to 4. Point well made, my professors.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this point, this is what, okay, I intend to, okay, Prof. Kojo had, okay, the same values, only that the presentation had issues. So as for your presentation, we can always work on it. Okay, he didn't show when he was substituting which equation, okay, and I think all concerns are addressed, but you had the answers anyway. Okay, but it's likely you won't get the full score because you had presentation or steps issue. So take note. So it means the understanding is there. Okay, then okay, so Prof. Judah, you gave us only the B. Okay, you could get only the B. You didn't get proceed to get the A. So once your B is right, I know your A definitely, okay, will be right. So you have to work on your speed. Okay, and again, okay, you didn't normal. So at normal circumstance, I will give you 0. You didn't normal. I've told you, never forget to normal your solution. Then, Mamisa, okay, so Mamisa, I guess you've seen where the problem is.
Yes, please.
Okay, so it was your, I think you basically solved your own question. You can see that instead of 8A minus 7B, you wrote 8A minus what? B. So on that note, okay, everything would be wrong. But I marked as if, okay, that was the question. But strictly speaking, if that wasn't the question, so if I was supposed to go by the marking scheme, you would have lost all the mark. Even the extraction, you will lose it because you didn't extract well. You get it?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. All right. But all of you, but your presentation was on point. Okay, only that one fraction that you could have. Okay, let me address a particular, I think along the line I will address it. So let's move on. If I don't address, or let me say it here. Whenever you are substituting, don't substitute an improper fraction. Always, sorry, a mixed number or mixed numbers. Always substitute the corresponding improper fraction. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we are going to proceed, okay, to the next question. So question 2. Okay, so quickly, let's go and look at, okay, so the solution. So we are asked to solve the following. So this one is similar. Okay, we can skip, right? Or we should do one.
So we can skip.
We can skip. Okay, is it unanimous? I heard only one voice. Unless maybe he's your spokesperson.
Yes, please.
We can skip. Okay, great. All right. So maybe let me guide you, but I won't write. Okay, so at this point, you ask yourself, substitution will be best because you can make y the subject here. Okay, with this one, okay, again, substitution will be best because you can make y subject here, the subject here. So let's come here. Okay, this one too, substitution will be better because you can make n the subject. Okay, as for elimination, you have to multiply at least one of the equations by a constant, so you always avoid that. Okay, so none of them for the all the ones that you have here, elimination will not be direct. You have to multiply at least one of the equations by a constant to make the coefficient of the variable that you want to eliminate, okay, the same. Okay, so we are going to skip. So let's look at question number, okay, 3. Okay, so fractions, that's where I realized that some of you have issues. So I will do 1 or 2 again. Then after that, we come to these situations we've not handled, okay, any situation of the sort. Okay, so I'll take you through how to do this. Then after that, okay, that will be it for this session. Maybe the question 4 too we will skip. Okay, or I will guide you. So solution, my professors, are you with me? Okay, at this point, okay, so let's go for our water break. Okay, we've done 1 hour. When you come back, then we look at. Okay, so let me pause. Okay, so you are welcome back from the water break. Quickly, let's go and look at what the first one, which involves a fraction. Then after that, maybe as a guide, you do the rest, and I will do the D, which will also guide you to do the E. Okay, so as usual, when you read a question, we are just asked to solve. Okay, no salient part to underline. So we come and write solution, then we write the major question number, which is 3. Okay, minor question number A. Given, I can choose not to write the given, so I'm going to ignore the given. So I'll write 1 over 2x, okay, plus y is equal to 1. Okay, let me see. This involves fractions. Remember the advice. Before I label my equation, I have to make sure that it is devoid of brackets and what fractions. So I'm going to clear the fraction, forgive me. So before labeling, so I'll write this implies that, okay, I multiply through by 2. So this 1 by 2 give me x. This 1 by 2 give me 2y. This 1 by 2 give me 2. Then I call this equation 1. Okay, then I will come to, remember the connector I said is very important, and or you can bring it down here. So the second equation that you are given, that is x, okay, minus 1 over 2y is equal to 7. Again, that all contains a fraction. So I will not label it. I will transform it, manipulate it to a certain form before, like I did for the 1. So equally, I will multiply through by the 2. So it will be 2 times this, which will give me, my LCM is what you go for always. So 2, so this implies that 2x minus y is equal to what? Okay, 14. Then that becomes my equation, what? Equation 2. Okay, so on that note, I have these 2 equations to study and plan how best to solve them. Okay, so if I look at the 2 equations, if I want to eliminate x, okay, I have to multiply equation 1 by a constant 2. Okay, if I want to eliminate y, same, multiply equation 2 by 2. So I want to see if I can avoid that. Okay, so substitution, I can make x the subject here. It will not involve a fraction. I can equally make y the subject here in equation 2. It will not make bring in a fraction. So I am going to again go for substitution. Okay, otherwise I usually use elimination anyways because of you that I am using the information that you are given to deal with it. I see elimination as a convenience, especially if I have to multiply one equation. Only one equation by a constant. I don't see that to be a work at all. If it's 2, then I will give it a second thought. Okay, so now what do we do? I will eliminate, make x the subject in 1. So I'll write from, okay, equation 1, comma, it will always be too short. Make x the subject. X will be equal to, you move this one to the side. So that will give you 2 minus 2y. You label this one as 1a. Because you worked on only one equation. So a baby of equation 1. So equation 1a, obviously into equation 2. Okay, comma. So that will give me 2x, and my x, okay, should be in bracket because the coefficient is not 1. So I will get 2 minus, x is 2 minus 2y. Okay, then minus y is equal to 14. So at this point, what do we get? We get 4. Either you use implication, but you cannot use equal to, because what you have here is an equation, so you can't introduce your steps with equal to. So I can ignore. So I'll write 4, okay, minus 4y. Okay, minus y is equal to 14. Okay, so I want to avoid negative. Otherwise, I would have combined this, which will give me negative 5y. I'll write it, then move this one to the side. But I want to avoid that. But okay, let me be. Okay, go your usual way. Okay, so this will give you, I'll combine this, which will give me minus 5y. Then move this one to that side, so it will be 14 minus 4, so that will give me 10. I'll write it again before dividing. What I wanted to do was to combine this, which will give me negative. I'll move it to the side, which will be positive, and rather bring this one here, which will be negative. Then when I'm dividing, I will divide by positive. Like I've told you, I always want to avoid, though I didn't avoid here, just for you to follow. So I'll write it again before dividing. So 5 minus 5y is equal to 10 over minus 5, okay, over minus 5. So it means I will get y, okay, to be equal to, I'll get y to be equal to what? Minus 2. Am I right?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
so we all know that we need, okay, y to find x. So what then do we do? Okay, all right. Okay, so now what do? We are going to get label this one as what? We worked on 2 equations, so it's not a baby of one particular equation. So you can call this, have you labeled in equation 3? No, so 3. Then we go to equation 3 into the one that you made what as the subject, which is equation 1a. Okay, comma, always too short. So wherever I see y here, I put negative 2 there. So x will be equal to 2 minus 2 into negative 2, which will give us x to be equal to 2 plus 4. Okay, which will give us what? Positive 6. So I now draw my conclusion. Therefore, x is equal to 6, and okay, y is equal to what? Negative 2. Okay. Point well made, my professors.
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Now, let's see what the D will give us. As for this one, it's similar. Okay, clear the fraction. Write your first equation. Don't label it because you need to work on it. Other than that, if you label it, you are now going to write from which will take your time. So don't label it until you clear the fraction. You move all brackets. Same for this one. Then after that, you go your usual way. If you want to use substitution, okay, elimination on your transformed equation, the 2 equations that you manipulated to get to help make your work very easy. Elimination, substitution, you use the appropriate one. Okay, so same for this one as well. Okay, now let's come to the D. Okay, so D, this is what we are going to do. An interesting, okay, situation will come in here. So what are we giving? We are giving, so again, I'm not writing the giving. Like I want you to know that you can equally ignore, okay, and adapt. But I usually write giving so that I will know that that is not coming from my input. But let's move on. It doesn't really matter. So I need to extract. So I'm going to extract xy, okay, is equal to minus 33. So I'll call this my equation 1. And okay, if the second equation will go here, you continue. By mine, it won't go there, so I will come down. X plus y. Oops, my y is not pretty at all. Okay, it's looking like another mathematical symbol, not a letter. Okay, so y, okay, should be equal to or is equal to 8. So this becomes my equation 2. Okay, I'm labeling this one as equation 2. As you mature, you do something before you label, because this is the first example. So my direct equation extracted and named directly. Okay, this is also not looking like this, like it's not looking like y. So let me write it where in math, whatever that you write, you have to be very careful because math is full of symbols and notations. You have to make sure that what you write is very clear. Okay, this is my advice. Anytime you can see that again, you have two equations, each of them in two variables, this one and this one. If you look at the first equation, you have the variables x and y, all right, but they are multiplying. The second equation, x and y, all right, but they are adding. So in this one, x and y are factors. In this one, x and y are terms. My point well made.
Sir.
And you can see that so far, okay, all our x and y in each equation will be terms. We've never encountered a situation where our x and y will be factors. So this is the first situation. So how do you deal with this situation? Okay, so this from the, outside the usual. So there's unusual. Okay, so that's all that you need to do. My advice is make one of the variable the subject in any of the equations. Usually we will tell you that, okay, the substitution method is ideal. Always, usually. Okay, so in this case, if you substitution, then it means change of subject should be in play. So you have to make a variable the subject, but in the equation that you think will be best. But this will be my advice. Anytime you are making a variable the subject, remember I've advised only that I'm repeating. Make sure that the variable, when made the subject, it will not involve a fraction. If you can avoid that, you avoid. In certain situations, you cannot. So in this case, if I come here and make s the subject, I have to write it again, divide by what? Y. So my x will involve a fraction, y will be a denominator. Okay, if I make y the subject to x will be the denominator to involve a fraction in equation 1. Now, if I come to equation 2, if I make x the subject, it will be 8 minus y, no fraction. Y the subject, it will be 8 minus x, no fractions. Is that clear? My professors, are you with me? All correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So it means it is advisable to go for equation 2, make any of the variables the subject. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so now I'm going to write from, okay, equation 1. Okay, so when you mature, you know that this one needs transformation. So you will make x or y the subject before you label, so that you will do the labeling twice. Here, you are going to do the labeling 3 times because you label after making y the subject or s the subject. So let's go for x. Okay, so from 1, comma, x will be equal to, okay, 8 minus what? Y. So you call this as what? You took only 1 and work on it. So 1a. All correct, my professors?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
so at this point, what do? We are going to substitute equation 1a into equation 1. Remember, the one that you make the subject, you don't substitute, go other than that, it will be back to square 1. You do the same. So what do? We are going to move on. So let me see. All right, let me put it here. So equation 1a, because it can take, that space can take it, into, okay, which equation? We said equation 1. So let me come and write it here. And that will give me x, which is 8 minus y. I put that in brackets. Okay, then times what? My y. Y is this. Okay, still y is equal to minus 33. All correct, my professors?
Yes, please.
Okay, so at this point, you know, we need to go and remove brackets. Okay, combine like terms, if any, and study the equation
Yeah.
that we are asked to solve. Prof. Judah, any problems? Or you wanted to indicate that you are fine? Okay. Prof. Judah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Please, the equation from the line where it says from equation 1, x is equal to 8 minus y, the equation 1a. Can you make y the subject
Yeah, I said it.
rather than making
You can make any of them the subject. I said it.
okay?
Because any of them, before we decided that we are going to make, okay, a variable the subject in equation 2, I said, I don't know whether it was your network. I said we can make as the subject, it will not involve a fraction, y the subject. So any of them goes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, only that I went for y. At the normal circumstance, I went for x the subject. I would have gone for y the subject so that my equation would be in x. But I wanted to let you know that your equation will not always be in x. A quadratic equation will result. So that's the more reason why I went for this. The x as the subject.
Okay, sir.
So if you make x the subject, then it means you will solve for y first. If you make y the subject, then it means you will solve for x first. That's the difference.
Okay, sir.
With the substitution. Okay. So at this point, then we are good to go. So I'm going to expand. If you expand, we'll get 8 minus y squared is equal to minus 33. All correct. All correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, we can see that we are dealing with a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation. A quadratic equation in what? In y. Okay, so usually if you want to solve quadratic equation, okay, we said make sure you have everything on one side equated to 0 and check if your quadratic expression is factorable. Then you use the method of factorization. Remember, our next topic will be, okay, we'll zoom in on quadratic equations. Remember, I told you, usually math questions, you will involve solving equations linear, okay, or inequalities linear, quadratic, what have you. So usually, okay, we have to make sure that you are okay with what? Solving quadratic equations, solving linear equations, be it in one variable, okay, or in two variables. So quickly, let's go and establish the point. So in this case, I always want my leading term, which is the coefficient of what? The y squared. The leading term will be the term with the highest power, which is what? The y squared term. So you should always make sure that it's positive if possible. So I can make it positive because it's an equation. So I'll move this one here and move this one also here. So let's see what we are going to get. So we are going to get, okay, if I move, I'm going to get y squared. In effect, in my mind, I'm moved here to be positive. Then I'll get minus 33, then minus 8. So that will be minus what?
Minus 41.
Minus 41. Okay, is equal to 0. So at this point, you ask yourself, okay, per your level of understanding on factorization, are you able to factorize this? First of all, you see, the first term is a square of a term. You have minus the second term. So you check if 41 is a square of a number. It's 41, so find square root of 41. If it gives you an integer value, then it means it's the square of that integer value. If it doesn't, then it means it's not a perfect square. Is that clear? So y is a perfect square because it's squared. Let's check whether a normal squared can also give us what? 41. Then it means we can solve by factorization. Otherwise, I will teach you an approach to deal with it. I'm waiting.
Sir, please, it will give you 6.403.
Obviously, so once it's not an integer, it means this is not a perfect square. And you all know that 41 is not a perfect square. So you cannot factorize this and solve, okay, by factorization. So what you do is, there's a special situation. Okay, let me go back and check whether what we were doing, we were on the right track. Okay, so you didn't draw my attention to something. I just realized that there was something wrong. Can you see? Our expansion was wrong. Can you see that? And no one had my attention. This will rather give you 8y minus y squared. And no one had my attention drawn to that. It means you are not following. Is my point well made?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go and do the needful. So it's supposed to be 8y instead. Okay, because we haven't done quadratic equation in where it will not be factorable in that situation, I don't think I will give you a question on that. So that's why I went to check. Okay, because these are carefully selected questions. So let me do the needful here, do the right thing. My professors, I guess you are with me now. So at that point, we are doomed. It will be M0, A0. Marking becomes very easy. Okay, so here again, you make the y squared positive. So you have to move these two to the side. So it will be y squared minus 8y, then minus 33, because these two are coming here. This will still be negative 33. Okay, it's equal to 0. Okay, so let's see. Are we able to get factors of 33? That when we multiply, we get minus 33. We add, we get minus 8. Mm-hmm. 11 and 3. Minus 11, positive 3.
Negative 11 and 3.
And positive 3, yes. So it means we can solve by factorization. So at this point, my professors, I hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so at this point, we are going to get y squared. You use your factor pair, okay, to split this. And we said it will be minus 11y, okay, then plus what? 3y. Okay, then minus 33 is equal to 0. Okay, we now come and factorize by grouping. But remember, I've told you, in JHS, maybe you'll be told to use the bracket to group, but it's not necessary. It can put you in trouble. So group the first two mentally and factorize. That's introducing the bracket. So y will come out and I will get y minus 11. Okay, the last two group and factorize, plus 3 will come out. Then I will get y minus 11 as well. So factorize each two sum contains a common factor. So we know that this will give us y plus 3, okay, into, okay, y minus 11. Okay, is equal to 0. So at this point, okay, remember I've told you solve quadratic equation proper. You use the zero product rule or zero product property. Okay, if the product of two numbers equal to 0, then at least one of the numbers will be 0. So set each of the numbers or linear, okay, factors here to 0 and you solve. So it will be y plus what? 3 is equal to 0. And the connector is or. Don't ignore the connector or don't change the connector. Okay, then y minus 11 is equal to 0. So y, you come and solve for y here, will be minus 3 here. Then y will be equal to 11 here. Is my point well made? Okay, so remember, I told you that we encounter a special situation here or a different situation here. So far, when you have your two equations involving sum, only sum of your variables or even difference of your variables. Okay, remember, if you get s value, you get only one value. So you always get one s value, one y, it corresponding y value. But here, okay, we ended up getting quadratic equation. And every quadratic equation, the maximum number of values or solution that you will get will be 2. So here is the case we have a maximum. The maximum to two distinct roots or solutions. So this is what you do. You use each y to predict, okay, or find its corresponding s. So because you have two values for y, you likewise get two values what? Okay, for that of what? X. So take note as well. Is my point well made, or I should come again?
Please.
Well made, or I should come again? I asked two questions. Which is which?
Please come again.
I should come again. Okay, at least you understand up to this point. Professor,
Yes.
you understand up to this point? Okay, so like we said, the other equations that we saw so far, you realize that if you get x, you go and put maybe use x to find y. So once you have one s value, likewise you get one y value, usually. So here we had, after substituting, we ended up getting quadratic equation, which has given us two y values. So remember, we are finding s values and what? And y value, or s values and s value and y value, or s values, y values. But here we have two y values. So we are not done. We need the s value as well. So this is how you proceed from here. Maybe if I write and take you through the solution, you appreciate it better. So you come and write if, okay, y is equal to 3, we are going to find what? X. Did we make s the subject somewhere? Yes, we did. Okay, here. So we can find x if you know the corresponding y. You get the point? Okay, so if y is equal to 3, Remember, x will be equal to, let's go and look at the relation for, we can get it even from here. Okay, x give us 8 minus y. So it will be 8. Oh, y is equal to minus 3, not 3. Forgive me. So it will be 8, okay, minus 3. So it will be plus 3. Is my point well made? Or for the purposes of explanation, you let me substitute directly. So that this is the first example you can. But you are mature, you people are smart. Okay, so it will be minus your y. Your y is minus 3. So I'll put that in bracket. Okay, so that I'm going to get x, okay, is equal to, so this will not attract any mass. The mass will be given here, 8 plus 3 when you carry out your substitution. So you get s to be equal to, okay, what do we have? 11, am I right? Okay, but that's not the only y value. You had a second y value, so we need to go and find the corresponding s value as well. So you go and write if y is equal to the second y value, which is, what do we have? Forgive me. Okay, so that will be 11. Okay, x will be equal to, remember, it will be, we said it will be 8 minus what? Your y, but your y here is 11. Okay, which will give us x is equal to minus 3. All correct? All correct?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, we are going to draw our conclusion. Lovely. So this is how you draw your conclusion. So take note. So therefore, okay, x is equal to, so when x is equal to minus 3, okay, and, or let me use comma so that you can appreciate it's the same thing when I'm writing that down. Remember, I told you in math, comma equally can mean, okay, end. So let me do the needful. So x equal to 3, comma, when x equal to 3, state its corresponding y value. Y is equal to 11. Or, okay, s is equal to, what was the second s value? The second s value is 11, comma, and its corresponding y value. When s equal to 11, y was what? Y was negative 3. So y is equal to negative 3. Is my point well made? So here, the most important aspect in your conclusion is that don't write therefore s is equal to, then write all the s values before you come and write the y value. So write the s and its corresponding y. They should always move together. Or the x its corresponding y. Is my point well made? If you don't want to use, so this means s is equal to minus 3 and y is equal to 11, or another possible situation, s is equal to 11 and y is equal to what? Minus 3. But I decided to use the comma instead of what? The end. If you want to use the end, you use. However, when you are separating your first, okay, possible values, okay, I mean for the x and the corresponding y, when you are separating, you don't separate them with and, you separate them with or. Point well made.
Yes, please.
Okay, please, are we all fine? Okay, so at this point, okay, we are going to end the lesson here. Okay, you will be giving our, okay, like, let me see, yes, I'll put these two together, or I'll add another one and check if you can. So I'll put your assignment on the platform, okay, pretty soon. So take notes, or better still, you can pick it from here. Okay, question 3, you do the C. Question 3, the C and the E. Okay, if you don't get it on the platform, then we had one question also here. Okay, so I think question 2. Okay, so you do the question 1. Was there any question? Quickly, let me check so that it will appear in the video. Question 1, I think this you are supposed to. So don't do question 1. I think if you're able to do this in question, okay, question 1, you've done a classwork there. So let's see if you can do question 2. So you do the question 2D, this one, and also, okay, let me look at the nature of this one. Okay, and this. Okay, and the 2 questions here. So you have 3 assignments. 1 in question 2, then 2 in question 3. And here, let me guide you. With this one, it will involve more algebra. Okay, you always make a variable the subject in the linear equation with a sum. Okay, so here this is sum or difference. So you make x the subject. Unfortunately, you cannot avoid, okay, what do you call it? A fraction. So if you are able to do this, then any equation of this form, you should be able to deal with it. So thank you very much, okay, for making the class interactive, and thanks for your attention and for your time. God bless.